You know, years from now, psychiatrists are going to watch this movie and they are going to diagnose this little girl as a schizophrenic. I'm pretty sure about that. Inside Out. Alright, so Inside Out is the newest movie that's from Pixar, and Pixar hasn't released a movie since Monsters University, which was all way back in 2013. And this is more or less a return to form for Pixar. And it seemed like right after Toy Story 3, Pixar just wasn't putting out really good movies anymore. I mean, Cars 2 was a piece of shit. Brave, I didn't mind. I didn't mind watching Brave. I was just like, oh, it was fine. It was fine. Monsters University I did enjoy, but I wasn't blown away with it like it was with Monsters Inc. But with Inside Out, you know, this isn't a sequel or prequel by any means. It's like a completely original idea from the guys at Pixar. So in Inside Out, it's all about like this little girl who is moving from Minnesota to San Francisco, I believe. And the movie is all about the emotions in her head, who are characters. You have Joy, voiced by Amy Poehler, anger, voiced by Luce Black, fear, voiced by Bill Hader, disgust, voiced by Mindy Kaling, and sadness, voiced by Phils from The Office. Things get a little out of control, and thus Joy and Sadness have to go on this adventure to go back to the control room and help this little girl get her emotions back and her memories back. And I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, Inside Out is without a doubt the best anime movie of this year by far. It may even be one of my all-time favorite Pixar movies. This movie was so touching. Like, this movie just really hits you right there, and that's what Pixar movies are supposed to do. You know, you watch something like WALL-E or Ratatouille, and they're movies that do hit you in the feels, and they appeal to, you know, not just the little 10-year-old that's seeing it, but also like the adult in you. Like, that's what I've loved always about Pixar movies, is that they are universal movies in that way. And I kind of felt like with Cars and Brave and Monsters University, the problem with those movies is that they're more geared towards children than they were to just everybody. And I really felt like with Inside Out, it was geared towards everyone, I think. And that's what makes this movie work. This movie just has a lot to say about the emotions you have, and you just watch and you're just like, holy shit. I totally recognize that, and it kind of makes you kind of have a better understanding of your emotions in some weird way, you know what I mean? But another thing that makes this movie great is the cast. I mean, usually I don't really praise the cast in animated movies because you're just like, oh, you're just cast, you're just there to give your voices. But for me, one of the things that brings all these characters, these like emotion characters to life, are the voices. I mean, like Amy Poehler was the voice of Joy, and when I heard about that, I was like, that's perfect, because, you know, as you know, I'm a huge Saturday Night Live fan. I grew up in the Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, Jimmy Fallon era. And Amy Poehler, you know, if you've seen Parks and Recreation, you've seen her SNL stuff, she has this really happy, enthusiastic voice, which fits perfectly for someone like Joy. And the same goes for someone like Luce Black, whose main comedy is just being angry, and it fits perfectly for anger. And the same goes for, like Bill Hader as fear, and Mindy Kaling as disgust. Like Mindy Kaling just has that type of funny, judgmental voice, which fits perfectly for a character like disgust. I loved it. You know, I thought every single cast member fit perfectly, and they, you know, it's not like where, oh, this, you know, character, you know, stole the show out of all the other characters. Like, every single character worked, and they all had their moments to shine, and that was great. That was what was so great about this movie. I have nothing like bad to say about Inside Out, other than the fact that I enjoyed the living hell out of this movie. I want to see it again and again and again. I can see myself ranking Inside Out with my favorite Pixar movies. I can see this being in the same league as the Toy Story trilogy, or Bug's Life, or The Incredibles, or Finding Nemo, or WALL-E. I can see Inside Out just being right there in that same league, because I love this movie that much. So I'm going to give Inside Out a perfect 10 out of 10. This movie is awesome. It's the perfect movie to take your kids to. You yourself as an adult won't hate this movie. You're going to be touched by this movie because you can relate to everything about it. Oh my god, I love this movie so much. So, what are your thoughts on Inside Out, and where does it stack up for you in terms of all the other Pixar movies? As said before, just comment, like, subscribe, and I will catch you later.